हम्म? नहीं मैं वो वहाँ गया ना उसकी शकील भाई को हाँ उनकी आज है ना स्वयं स्वयं की आज है हाँ अलीम बंद कर दें पानी पानी है पानी अलैकुम सलाम खैरियत से ना हाँ no if you're drinking drink it कहाँ से ला रहे हैं no it's here Alim hey thank you so much man I'm gonna start right now yeah because today is gonna be half an hour lecture and then we had question and answer but no one showed up today so I thought I should leave that for the end leave the ziyarah for the end yeah. हो गया अलीम बासित को दे दें बासित को दे दो बासित को वो वाला बासित को दे दें बारो कोई है अलीम और कोई है हसना है अच्छा Let's teach it. Assalamu alaikum, Hassan. Where are your partners in crime? Where are your partners in crime?
I don't know. I think there's Swam was listening there.
Yeah, in Jaffrey. Did they all go there?
Also, I think there was the 5 freeway was jammed
Oh.
into like an interchange. So I had to take the 60. So it was just, so when I was going up the 60 and I saw the 7, going to the 710,
Mm.
as you get to the 710, you can see the cars coming up on the flag, the little girls.
Mm.
So something must have happened. So maybe 6 for dinner then.
Chale, let's get started.
The crypto's going.
I know.
I'm so happy. I'm just so happy they need to crash.
No, it needs a correction.
Going down?
It's getting a correction. It's getting a huge correction. Yeah.
Well, the government sent out a report saying that we're not going to be responsible if you lose money.
They were never.
No, they did. Remember those people that lost the money in the crypto scandals? They repaid them all, right? There was millions of dollars that guy banked and freed.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So they said, we're not doing that. We're not going to do that. So people thought, oh, if I lose my money, the government will step in and no. They said no, so that's why they passed it like that. I mean, they're so overinflated.
No, they were inflated anyways. It needs a correction. That's what's happening right now. Julia? No, I think we're going to be done early today. Salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله الذي هدانا لهذا ما كنا لنهتدي لولا أن هدانا الله والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا ونبينا ومولانا وحبيب قلوبنا وطبيب نفوسنا بالقاسم محمد والصلاة والسلام على أهل بيت الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين المظلومين واللعنة على أعداء من يوم أول ظلمهم إلى قيام يوم الدين أما بعد فقال الله سبحانه وتعالى في كتابه المبين وقوله الحق بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ولقد كتبنا في الزبور من بعد الذكر أن الأرض يرث عبادي الصالحون صدق الله العلي العظيم. Dear brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. As I said, inshallah, on Monday, I believe, that today was going to be a lecture and then there was going to be a question answer also because we didn't have time on Monday. And the topic for tonight is that topic that got left in terms of Monday night, which was Imam Zaman alayhi salam. And I said that tonight we're going to look at the signs of the reappearance of Imam Zaman alayhi salam. And when it comes to these signs, you have to understand that when you look at the books, there are a multitude of signs that could happen, that will happen. But when it comes to the signs, all you really need to focus on are those signs that all of the Imams, from Amir al-Mu'minin alayhi salam all the way to Imam Hassan alayhi salam, they all say that these signs will happen no matter what. Meaning what? Meaning from all the signs that the Imams have given us, they say that there are 5 signs that will hatman, they will definitely happen before the appearance of Imam Zaman alayhi salam. When there's so many signs, and all the other signs, the Imams, they have said that those signs, that all the other signs, like if you look into the narrations, there's over 150 different signs that you can get from the Imams. But of those 150, these 5 are certain. Those other 145 that are there, over 145 that are there, the Imams, they say that those signs, they come with conditions. If the conditions met, the sign will be met. But these 5 signs, there are no conditions prior to these signs. There are no conditions, meaning that these 5 signs are independent of those others and they will happen before the zuhur of the Imam. So when there are these 5 signs that will happen no matter what happens to the world, that means what? That means that we should only and only really focus on these 5 signs. That's it. Every other sign, whether it happens, whether it occurs in our lifetime or it doesn't, shouldn't really matter. All that should really matter to us is that these 5 signs, for example, one of the signs for the Zuhur Imam Zaman alayhi salam, if you look at the narrations, it says that there is going to be outbreaks of disease. Outbreaks of disease. It's happened in our lifetime. And people are saying that it might happen, there's a good chance that it will happen again. But this outbreak of disease has happened before also. It's happened many times throughout history. So that's why you can't look at that sign and say, okay, this sign has definitely happened. Now that this sign has definitely happened, the Imam is going to appear. Why? Because this sign has happened before. Another sign, wars will be breaking out. That's also happened. That's also happened before. That's nothing new. That's why you can't look at these signs individually and then say, okay, you know what? Now Imam is going to appear. No. The narrations do state that earthquakes, natural disasters, as we get near and near to Imam's appearance, natural disasters are going to occur. But not just occur, but they're going to be frequent. Natural disasters are going to be more frequent. And you look at these natural disasters that are occurring now. For example, when was the last time you heard about a snowstorm in Texas? But now when you look at the news, that's another sign. Imam Ali, he says that before the appearance of Imam Zaman or Mahdi, it's going to be cold where it shouldn't be cold. It's going to be hot where it shouldn't be hot. It's going to be cold when it's supposed to be warm. It's going to be warm when it's supposed to be cold. Meaning what? Meaning that the temperature, the weather is going to change. The weather is going to change. And you see that that's what's happening. But can I say that, okay, because it's happening now, if the Zuhur of Imam Ali is close? No, it's difficult for me to say and come to that conclusion. That's why I keep referring and I keep saying that just focus on 5 signs that are definitely going to happen. Because once those 5 signs, they're going to happen one after another. One after another, one after another. It's not like one sign is going to happen one time and then the second sign is going to have 5 years later. No, these 5 signs are going to happen one after another. Within a year, within 9, 10 months, within a year, these signs are going to happen. And then Imam Zaman alayhi salam, he's going to appear when? Muharram. What day? According to narrations, the 10th. From where? Makkah. Clear? So what are these 5 signs? Because today, like I said, it's going to be more of an engagement, like a question and answer kind of engagement. And mashallah, we have so many people that we can have this engagement. We have a lot of time for this engagement because of all these people. But these certain signs that the Imams, they talk about, first and foremost is the Sufyani. And when it comes to the Sufyani and his appearance, Sufyani, to begin with, the name itself should tell you who his descendant or who he is descended from. Abu Sufyan. And when it comes to this individual, he's going to arise before the appearance of Imam Zaman alayhi salam. And not just that, but when he makes his stand, he's going to end up controlling Balad al-Sham. He's going to end up controlling what was known as the Levant. Basically what? What is today Syria, what is today Jordan, what is today the Palestinian territories, what is today Lebanon. That was, historically it was known as the Levant, historically it was known as Balad al-Sham. When Sufyan rises, he's going to basically control that area. Right now, Syria, they have a new president, yes, but is his government under his control completely? No. It's not. He doesn't have complete control over that government. Today he's here, tomorrow someone else will take his place. That's just how they are. But when it comes to Sufyani, And when it comes to what's going to happen in Sham, 3 flags are going to fight over the government of Sham. 3 flags. And the flag of Sufyani is going to be the flag that wins. And he's going to rule over it. And when I say Sham, I don't mean just Damascus that we have today. I don't mean just Syria that we have today. Sham, back in the time of the Imam, it wasn't just Syria of today. No, Damascus was a whole region, was a whole area. So when they say that he's going to take control of Sham, they're talking about that whole area. So when Sufyani rises and he makes a stand, he's going to control over, yes, what is today Syria. And then what is he going to do? He's going to send his army towards Imam Zaman alayhi salam. But not just like that he's going to send his army. No, he's going to take over lands in Syria. Hatta the narrations, they state that he's going to get into Kufa. There's going to be an army that breaks, or there's going to be a war that breaks out in Kufa. And if you look at the narration of what Sufyani is going to do in Kufa, where him and his army, they kill pregnant women. Him and his army, they kill and butcher innocent children. You see that just not long ago, there were a group of Muslims that were doing the exact same thing in the name of Islam. Not so long ago, 15 years ago, there was a group of Muslims that rose in Iraq. They were doing the exact same thing. So you begin to wonder, who are those types of Muslims? Who are they going to follow? Are they truly going to follow Imam Zaman alayhi salam, or are they going to follow that individual who's going to let them do what they've done? This is that Sufyani. When it comes to this individual, the narrations, they say, the Imams, they state that one, he's going to rise in the month of Rajab. He's going to rise in the month of Rajab. And outwardly, he'd be very pious. Outwardly, he'll be very pious, but inwardly, he will be a kafir. He'll be a kafir. And you see, even today, you have a lot of Muslims. Outwardly, they're pious. Out in the public, they're pious. But when they're alone, or when they're just only and only with their own friends, then the real them comes out. That's what this type of individual is. And that's what, for example, if you look at the line of Abu Sufyan, take it back all the way to Abu Sufyan al-Anklali. That's exactly how they were. Abu Sufyan, he himself, when did he become quote-unquote Muslim? Never. He never became Muslim. Hatta Amir al-Mu'mineen, when Khilafat was taken from Amir al-Mu'mineen, Abu Sufyan was the first person to come to Amir al-Mu'mineen and say to Amir al-Mu'mineen, Ya Ali, if you give me permission, they've taken your right, if you give me permission, I will fill this place up with my people. I'll fill you this place up with. It's not that he believed that Amir al-Mu'mineen should really have power. No, he just didn't want that other individual to have power. Why? Because the tribe that other individual came from was lower than the tribe that Abu Sufyan came from. He didn't want to be ruled by someone that he believed to be not worthy. But he tells Imam alayhi salam, Ya Ali, if you give me permission, I'll fill the streets with my people, and you can take back your right. Amir al-Mu'mineen, he tells Abu Sufyan, when were you ever a Muslim that you're looking after my right? This Amir al-Mu'mineen, when were you ever a Muslim? He was never a Muslim. What does this mean? Why? Why did Amir al-Mu'mineen say this? Because this individual was one of those individuals that became Muslim after the conquest of Mecca. Why is that important? It's important because when the Holy Prophet went and conquered Mecca, he gave people a choice. He gave people not just one choice, but he gave people different choices. One was you accept Islam wholeheartedly and nothing will come to you. Nothing will happen to you. That was one choice. The second choice was you put down your weapons and nothing will happen to you. The third choice was you take sanctuary by the Kaaba and nothing will happen to you. The fourth choice was what? That you come to the house of Abu Sufyan and nothing will happen to you. These were the four choices. Abu Sufyan never accepted Islam wholeheartedly, but what did he do? He put down his weapons. And because he put down his weapons, he was always looking for a way that he could get the power from these individuals. He was never a Muslim the way the other people accepted Islam. No, he put down his weapon. Because he put down his weapon, that was it. That was it. This Sufyani, hatta there are narrations that even give his name, and they say it's Usman ibn Ambakha. They have a name such as that, where this person, this individual, and hatta to the point where they describe the way he's going to look. They describe the way he ends up looking, where some of the narration that in Ayatollah Qurani's Asr Zuhur, this person, he claims to be a Muslim, but he ends up having beliefs of Christians, where you see that some of the narrations, they say that he wears a cross around his neck. A cross around his neck. But this individual, he's going to rise in the month of Rajab. When Imam Zaman appears in the month of Muharram, and he hears about it, what is he going to do? He's going to send his army to go and fight against Imam Zaman alayhi salam. But as soon as the Sufyani rises, the same month, the same day, another individual is going to rise, which is the Yamani. The Yamani. This Yamani, the Holy Prophet, Amir al-Mu'mineen and the Imams, they say that when the Yamani rises, do everything that you can to be with him. Why? Because his banner is the closest banner to Imam Zaman alayhi salam. His banner is the banner of truth. Hatta there's some narrations that state that if you don't join him, you've left the fold of Islam. If you don't join him, you've left the fold of Islam. Do whatever you can to join him. When he makes his stand, then it becomes haram for Muslims to start selling their weapons. It becomes haram for Muslims to start selling their weapons. Look at what the Imams are saying. The Imams are saying, when this person rises, do your best to go be with him. Do your best to go and be with him. This is where some of our own Shias, the way they think is completely different than the way the Imams have told them to think. What do I mean? Some people, they think, oh, when Imam rises, we don't need to go there. We just need to be here and do what the Imam tells us. What does that mean? We don't need to go there. When you look at the narrations talk about what? That there's going to be a battle between Haqq and Batil. There's going to be a battle between Haqq and Batil. The Imams, they say, for example, regarding the Yamani, whatever you do, do your best to be with him. Why? Because his banner is the closest banner to Imam Zaman alayhi salam. As soon as Sufyani rises, the same month, the same day, the Yamani is going to rise. And the Yamani is going to rise against the Sufyani. Against the Sufyani. Other narrations, they talk about the Khurasani also rising. 2. 3. These are hatman, these are signs that are going to happen no matter what. The third is a loud cry from the sky. Where that loud cry, the narrations, they say that it's going to be who? Who's going to make that proclamation? Jibreel, thank you. Jibreel alayhi salam, he's going to call out from the sky that what? Haqq is with Ali and his followers. Haqq is with Ali and his followers. And then Imam Sadiq alayhi salam, he says that that's going to happen in the daytime. But after that happens, there's going to be another cry from the land, and it's going to be Shaitan's cry. And he's going to say that Haqq is with Fulan and his followers. Fulan and his followers. And Imam Sadiq alayhi salam, he says that the first cry, the first yell is where the truth lies. The second is a falsehood. 3, the fourth sign, which is the closest sign to the reappearance of Imam Zaman alayhi salam, the narrations they state that is the murder of Nafs Zakiyah. Now, when it comes to Nafs Zakiyah is not the name of an individual. Nafs Zakiyah, it just means a very purified soul. A purified soul. That's what Nafs Zakiyah means. There's some narrations that say when it comes to Nafs Zakiyah, that give the name of this individual, and this Nafs Zakiyah, he's going to be a representative of Imam Zaman alayhi salam. And when he comes to Makkah to make out that call in the time of Zul Hijjah, he's going to get murdered. He's going to get murdered. When he gets murdered, that is the closest sign to Imam Zaman alayhi salam's reappearance. And when Imam Sadiq alayhi salam was asked, Ya Ibn Rasulullah, is it going to be months after this event and the rise of Al-Qa'im? He says, no. Is it going to be weeks? No. Is it going to be days? It's going to be days. It's going to be days. This is the closest sign to Imam Zaman alayhi salam's reappearance. When you look at the fifth sign, is when Sufyani learns Imam Zaman alayhi salam has appeared in Makkah and he's coming and rising, and he sends his army. His army is going to get swallowed in a place called Bayda, between Makkah and Medina. And from that army, there's only going to be 2 people that are going to be left. Alaykum salam. There's only going to be 2 people that are left. One person is going to go to Sufyani's army and let him know what happened. The other person is going to go to Imam Zaman alayhi salam and let him know what happened. So when it comes to the signs, these are the 5 signs of the reappearance of Imam Zaman alayhi salam that you and I should really concentrate on. That's it. The other signs, whether they happen or not, shouldn't matter. If they happen, great. Great. But don't focus your whole belief on those signs happening, and if Imam Zaman doesn't reappear, well, all the signs happened. No. The signs that were supposed to happen, it's only 5. That's it. Once these 5 signs happen, Imam is appearing. So all of your hopes should be on these 5 signs, not on all the other 145 or 150 signs. And that's what happens with the Shias. That's what happened. There are so many signs. When one of those signs that is just only supposed to happen because of the conditions, when those conditions are met and the sign happens, the Shias, they're focused on that. And when they're focused on that, they say, oh, you know what? This was supposed to happen. This happened, so now Imam is going to appear. And when he doesn't appear in the time frame that they put in their head, what do? They end up starting to disbelieve within themselves little by little. Why? Because they've taken that sign to be a major sign of the reappearance of Imam Zaman alayhi salam, when in reality it never was. When in reality it never was. It was a sign, but it doesn't mean that it was one of those 5 signs that was supposed to happen. For example, other signs that a lot of people talk about it's supposed to be a solar eclipse and a lunar eclipse in the month of Ramadan. Solar eclipse and a lunar eclipse in the month of Ramadan. Solar eclipse in the middle of the month and lunar eclipse at the end of the month. Now a lot of you might go and see, you know what? The eclipses, the scientists have already tracked the eclipses. You know when an eclipse is going to happen. So what do? They go and look at the calendars and they see, okay, you know what? There's supposed to be a solar eclipse 2029. There's supposed to be a lunar eclipse 2029, and it's the month of Ramadan also. Or 2021, 2020, whatever. They'll look at it, they say, okay, you know what? The Imam is appearing there. No. If there's going to be one of those or those eclipses in the month of Ramadan tomorrow, this year in the month of Ramadan, does that not also mean that there were probably past Ramadans that also happened? Yes. It's not as if this Ramadan is the only one. This coming Ramadan or whenever it happens in the future is the only one when it happened. No, it's possible that it happened in the past too, but Imam didn't appear. Why? Because that's not a necessary sign. If it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. When you look at the other signs, for example, successive wars and death, you see that's happening. Increase of injustice and corruption in the world. That's going to continue to happen until Imam appears. The time period that you and I are living in, we're thinking that, you know what, it can't get more corrupt than this. The time period that you and I are living in, we're thinking that, you know what, there can't be more injustice than this. You have to remember that the Shias that were living in the past before us, look at what they went through, and they were probably most likely thinking the same thing. Look at what the Shias went through in the time of Banu Abbas, sallallahu. Look at it. This is why when it comes to these signs, these uncertain signs, even if they happen, don't hold your hopes to these signs. Hold your hopes to those 5 signs. That's it. The coming of fitna, alaykum salam wa rahmatullah. The coming of fitna and removal of khushu from an individual's heart. Meaning what? Meaning that people will pray, but there will be no reverence. People read Quran, there will be no reverence. There will be no reverence. People will come here. This doesn't just only apply to namaz and roza or namaz and Quran. No. It applies to reciters also. People will be on the minbar. There will be no reverence. People will do the zikr of the Ahlul Bayt. There will be no reverence. There will be no reverence. They'll be doing it for what? The namaz will be for show. The namaz will be for show. The reading of the Quran will be for show. The coming up here on a minbar will be show. The reading for doing the zikr of the Ahlul Bayt will be for show. All of it will be for show. The matam will be for show. This is what the imams are saying, that there will be no reverence when it comes to all of these are acts of ibadat. There will be no reverence left in these acts of ibadat. Everyone will do it just only and only for worldly matters. People will do it for worldly matters. And you see that that's what's happening. That's what's happening. Doesn't matter what ibadat, people do it just for the worldly matters. The loss of honesty and authority put in the hands of those who do not deserve it. You see this in the world, and this continues to happen. This continues to happen. Authority put in the hands of those individuals that do not deserve it. That do not deserve it. We're living in that time period. We're not just a time period. The loss of knowledge and the prevalence of religious ignorance. The prevalence of religious ignorance. What does that mean? What does that mean? Religious ignorance. People will do namaz, but they won't know what they're saying. If I was to ask a lot of people, maybe I don't know about, if I was to ask someone, you know what, can you give me the translation for Surah Al-Hamd? That's a surah that is wajib in salat. If I was to ask anyone, give me the translation of Surah Al-Hamd. There are people that won't know. Why? Because they've just memorized the Arabic. Religious ignorance. Religious ignorance. Why do you pray? I don't know, I just pray. When you do an ibadat, you should know why you're doing that ibadat. At the very least, you should know that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has told me to pray, so I pray. If you don't want to go deeper into it, no problem. But at the very least, you should know that. That should be what makes you pray. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has commanded me to pray, so I pray. One more, widespread acceptance of music. Another sign. And you see that music, where is it coming into now? Exactly. It's coming into, it's being attached with the zikr of the Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam, even though the Ahlul Bayt, they were so far away from it. Not just that, it's being attached to the Quran also. It's being attached to the Quran. The Imam alayhi salam, they say that this is going to be a sign of reappearance of Imam Zaman alayhi salam. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. Jews fighting Muslims. Sign of Imam Zaman alayhi salam. This has happened before. This is going to happen now. It's happening now and it will continue to happen. Jews fighting Muslims. When paying charity becomes a burden, when giving zakat, it becomes a burden. Nomads will compete in the construction of very tall buildings. And you see, that's exactly what's happened. What do you think Dubai was? What do you think Abu Dhabi was? What do you think Qatar was? What do you think all of these countries? They're all competing for what? Tall buildings. The tallest building, I believe, even now is where? Dubai. There's a bigger one coming, yes. Elon Musk wants to make a bigger one. Yes, that's true, but it's not built yet. Oh, the one in Jeddah, see? They bigger and bigger. Imam, he says that that's what it's going to happen. People will seek knowledge from misguided and straying scholars. The emergence of indecency and enmity among relatives and neighbors. The Romans will form a majority amongst the people. And all of the ulama, when they've seen the narrations in regards to Romans, they say that the Romans are basically the Europeans. The Europeans are Western civilization, basically. People will increasingly earn money by haram ways. Haram ways. Why? Because you can make more money. If you're just a worldly person, if you can make more money in a haram way, why would you want to spend time making money a halal way? If you're just a worldly person. And that's what the Imams say. By the time of Imam Zaman's appearance, the Muslims, they will be Muslims in name only, but in terms of their actions, they will be far away from what a Muslim is supposed to be. There will be much rain, but very little vegetation. Let me see. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin. Voices will be raised in the mosques. If this doesn't tell you why, as soon as there's an argument in one center, within a month there's another center open. This is the reason. As soon as there's an argument, another center opens. It's not opening for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's not opening for the sake of the Ahlul Bayt. It's not opening for the sake of the Akhirah. No. It's opening, why? just to compete with the other center. That's it. That's it. The leaders of a people will be the worst of them. People will treat a man with respect because they fear the evil that he could do. Because they fear the evil that he could do. Look at all the leaders that we have today. Look at them. The people fear the leaders. Why? Because of the evil these leaders can do to them. Because of the evil. The Quran will be forgotten and no one will recall its verses. The Quran will be forgotten and no one will recall its verses. People will fornicate in the streets like donkeys. Makkah will be attacked and the Kaaba destroyed. The Kaaba has been destroyed. And I believe I said that right after Yazid, after the Shahadat of Abdullah al-Hussein, he attacked the Kaaba and he destroyed it. But this is in regards to Imam Zaman al-Islam's appearance. And you have to remember a lot of these signs, they're given by Imam Ali al-Islam, Amir al-Mu'mineen al-Islam. Amir al-Mu'mineen al-Islam, he passed away before, obviously he passed away before Imam Hussein al-Islam. So when he says that the Kaaba will be attacked and it will be destroyed, think about how many times the Kaaba was attacked and destroyed afterwards. The first time right after that was, after Amir al-Mu'mineen was, after Imam Hussein al-Islam. His Shahada, Yazid Lantullah alayhi, he sent an army and they destroyed the Kaaba. They burned it and they destroyed it. The moon will be split in two, but the non-believers will insist that it's not happening for real. The moon will be split in two and the non-believers. Inshallah, this is where I'm going to end and open for a Q&A, because I said the lecture will be about half an hour and then Q&A 10-15 minutes and then we'll end it. So turn off the live. اللهم صل على محمد وآله. So inshallah, we have about 10 minutes for Q&A and then we'll be done. Questions? Questions, Elias? No? Never had any questions. No questions?